Peace and blessings, everyone. And welcome to another episode of the Dear Black Woman podcast. Now, over these next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Here over at Dear Black Woman Media, we are working on a very important project that I think is prevalent and inspirational and motivational to all Black women out there. We're currently working on an anthology where we have a group of beautiful Black women, accomplished Black women who are writing love letters to their inner child. And this project is to not only help heal their inner child, but to inspire you to do the same thing. So, as you know, this podcast is a space where Black women's stories are honored, healing is spoken out loud, and our truths take center stage. Today's guest is one of our co-authors, Miss Robin Blue. One of the courageous voices that's going to be featured in the Dear Black Woman anthology. Contribution, Robin shares a deeply personal letter to her inner child, revealing a journey marked by silence, survival, and ultimately self-forgiveness. She opens up about childhood trauma, the emotional weight she carried, and the moment she chose no longer to hide behind her pain. Robin shows us what it means to reclaim your self-worth and protect your peace. Now, this episode is all about truth-telling, healing, and the quiet power of choosing yourself. So stay with us while we speak to Miss Robin Blue today on the Dear Black Woman podcast. Hello, Miss Robin.
Hello, blessings to you.
How are you today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm awesome. And Miss Robin, despite how much we have been together, I believe this is your first time on the Dear Black Woman podcast.
And I'm glad that I was finally invited. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. I've seen the podcast before and so many other wonderful women out there. I am glad that I was chosen to be among them.
Well, we're grateful for you. So tell us, Robin, who are you beyond, you being a co-author of this anthology, beyond the story? Who are you and who are you becoming?
Well, I am a sister of a whole lot of children. I am a mom. I'm a sister. I am a journalist. I am a soldier. I'm a veteran. I am the woman I want to be at this stage in my life.
Mm-hmm. Now, I absolutely love that. What inspired you to want to write this letter to your inner child?
Well, I have been hiding behind my secret for so long. And even though I don't think that it actually affected me long term, it was just recently talking to a psychiatrist that I realized that there was so much in me that I have pent up and that I had not spoken. And that I realized that the only way to heal is to share my story. Even if the world does not hear me, just to share, just to speak the words is actually freeing to me.
Yes. Now, was there a memory or a moment that anchored your story as you began to write?
I think what anchored me was finding out the truth, or at least my little girl's version of the truth. And that was that some people who were in my life there to protect me were not there actually protecting me. And I think when I hit that milestone during therapy, it opened a whole wave of things. And so when the opportunity came to actually write my younger self a letter, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know another way to express myself. So writing a letter was best. Considering I'm a journalist, I thought, how dare me have the skills and not apply them to this situation.
Yes, I love that. Now, you called your letter broken but not defeated. What does that phrase personally mean to you?
Broken and not defeated means that while somebody else had something negative planned for me, I realized that I'm not defeated. Their intention was to break me, but it didn't happen. There was some strength in me as a child that I did not know until I became an adult and realized that, hey, you are still standing. No matter how much they bent you over, literally, you are not broken. You are still standing. You are stronger than they anticipated that you would be. And so I
Yes.
for that.
Now that's
It
a message
reminds
to us. Yeah, that's a message to us all. Go ahead, Miss Robin. What were you saying?
I was going to say, it reminded me of just the other day. There's a tree in my yard. It stands really tall and it is bent beyond what you would think that it could hold. But it is still standing. It is still waving in the wind, just like the other trees that are standing upright. And I believe that that tree represents who I am. I was bent over, but I'm still here. I am still doing what God calls me to do, even bent. I'm
I
good.
love that. Now, you speak about living in silence for a number of years. What kept you silent and what finally moved you to want to speak?
My silence was because there was a fear of my mama.
Hmm.
I'm black, my mama black, my grandmama black, all my family black. And when my mama said, I don't want to hear this, she meant that. And even in her passing, there was still that fear
Mhm.
in me that said, mm-mm. My mama said she don't want to hear it. She ain't gonna hear it. She ain't gonna hear it from nobody because I'm not gonna say anything. But as the years go by, I realized, okay, my mama not here no more. Let me tell her. I gotta tell somebody.
Yeah.
And I
And
did. I
and you
did.
know what? I think what I've been finding as we've been on this journey is we all have very similar backgrounds, and it's that generational belief that what happens in our house stays in our house. So as a lot of us are writing these letters to our inner child, I am hearing that same sentiment of now, my parental figure or now that authoritative figure is no longer in my life, so I don't feel like I have to be silent anymore. So kudos to you for, finding your voice after so long. What emotional wounds stayed hidden the longest, and how did you begin to process the process of actually confronting them as you wrote?
I am definitely still processing it because one of my predators is still walking. So a piece of me is still holding a little bit of that secret, but I want this book to be my final coming out. I plan to just go ahead and just release it all. There's still a little bit of hesitancy in there because of my fear of hurting somebody else. If I tell my story, who else gets hurt? And that still kind of, because when it's family, you don't want people to get hurt, you don't want people
Yeah.
to be mad at you, you don't want to be uninvited to the barbecue, you definitely don't want to be uninvited to the family reunion. And so sometimes we don't want to share, we don't want to cause somebody else pain. And I
I think
that
it's
held me
still
back.
that way of that little girl still protecting the adults in her life that actually should have been protecting her.
That little girl that believed that it was a secret.
Hmm.
It had to be a secret because it was a secret with the predator, because you're not supposed to tell anybody. And then when I finally tell my mom about it and she says don't tell anybody, then what else was I supposed to think? This
Yeah.
is a secret. I'm not supposed to tell anybody. And I don't know why it's a secret. And I don't know who could get hurt because of that secret as a child. And
Mhm.
now that I'm an adult, I know who could get hurt. And it hurts me to believe that somebody is going to get hurt. I'm not worrying about the predator anymore. I'm worrying about the other people connected to the predator that could be hurt, or because they found out some truth that they did not anticipate.
Okay.
But right now, it's time for me to heal. It's time for me to stop carrying the load. And there's no other way for me to do it other than sit and whisper to each friend, cousin, auntie, uncle, whatever. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to put it out there. I want the world to know. I want somebody to hear my story and know that what they're going through, they're not alone in it. There are others of us who have dealt with the challenge, lived through the challenge, and are now in our victory stage. So join us on this victory lap.
I know that's right. Miss Robin said, join us on this victory lap. Now, how did your upbringing shape the way you viewed love, protection, or trust?
I did not have trust because the ones that I trusted failed me. So I was, you know how they say, trust but verify?
Hmm.
Everything in my life was, I'm gonna trust you a little bit on the outside, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
need to verify. I'm definitely gonna need to verify. So that limited me in building relationships because I was so standoffish. Because you're supposed to be able to go into a relationship and trust them until somebody fails you. And that was just opposite for me. I'm believing that you are going to fail me before I trust me. And if you don't fail me, then I'm going to trust you. And that hasn't been a strong character to have
Yeah.
over the
That's
years. So, right. So coming out of that shell is definitely a blessing for me. And I believe that it was just for a time such as this for it to come out.
okay. Now, how did your faith support or either challenge you in your healing journey?
My faith supported me in the healing journey because I know that all of the tears that I shed, God collected those tears and I will be blessed because he has carried those tears for me. And so all that time that I thought that my tears were just in silent, they were just unknown. It was good to learn that God heard all my tears. If you could hear tears. I just mean that he saw them. He knew they were coming because he wrote my story even before I came when I was knitted in my mom's womb.
Hmm.
But they needed to other things needed to happen in life before I got to the point that God needed me to be in recovery. And maybe that time was when somebody else could hear me and hear me clearly and hear my heart. Maybe it wasn't time for me to share that story a long time ago. All those tears, I just believe that he has now collected, and my blessings are in those tears. And I only learned that from having a relationship with him.
I love that. Now, was there a defining moment when you knew you had reclaimed your own self worth?
I think I'm still defining that moment. I believe that I'm still becoming. I don't believe that my um, growth is complete. I think that I'm continuing to grow. This just happened to be one step in that. I
Yes.
can't wait to know who I am when I'm free of the load.
Oh, I
I
love that.
remember what did that maybe it was Erica Badu that said bag lady.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm ready to shed these bags. So I
Yeah.
am looking forward to who I am, who I'm becoming when I no longer am hiding behind or carrying these bags of guilt and shame.
Yes. All of that luggage that you walking around traveling with has definitely has to be heavy for you. Now,
It's getting lighter though, because
I
I
love
know
it.
that there's an end to the tunnel.
Yes. With each healing step, you drop a piece of that load.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now,
Absolutely.
you've described yourself as a soldier for life. Can you break that down for us?
Well, I am literally a soldier because my escape was joining the military when I was 2 weeks after graduation. I was like, I'm out of here. I don't have to deal with this anymore. I don't have to carry the luggage anymore, only to get to the military and find that I still had luggage to carry. It was just now in the duffel bag. And so I dealt with challenges because of my childhood in the military. However, that soldier, that discipline that I was charged to keep, that um, opportunity to lead others is still in me. And telling my story is just this opportunity to lead somebody else to their freedom, lead somebody else in speaking their truth. And so, yes, I'm a soldier. I was a soldier then, I didn't know it. I became a soldier, learned out all that they had in store for me, and today I'm still soldiering. Sometimes I feel like I'm marking time, but I'm moving forward when I need to.
I love that. Now, what was the most difficult part about starting this journey to writing this letter and the most healing part?
The most difficult part was saying yes. Because unless I committed to it, because as long as there wasn't an obligation to someone else to have a start, have a draft, and have a finish. As long as there was not a commitment to somebody else, I kept putting it away. So to start it, to be accountable, to tell my story, it really set me in motion. So
Yeah, and
I'm looking forward to it.
I remember you tried to get out of this too.
I did.
Yep.
Every day.
You did. You was
I
like,
tried to only a piece of my truth. And then the encouragement said, no, stop protecting folk. And that's what I have to do.
if
It's
your
that
inner
accountability.
child, if your inner child could speak back to you after reading your letter, what do you think she'd say to you right now?
Well, considering I still deal with my inner child, every time I see a woman who is going through the same situation and I can relate, that's my
Mhm.
inner child saying, hey, don't let her go through it by herself. I had to deal with it by myself, but don't let somebody else do that. So I think my inner child um, is with me every day, every time I see someone else. And I think she would tell me to keep going. We got this. We got this. She may not have known it then, but I got her now. And I'm thinking that she's saying, come on, we got to do it. We have got to do it.
I love
Come
this.
on, little soldier.
I love that. Now, how has your writing and sharing your story sort of shifted the way you show up for yourself now?
Now I stand in my authority to say no, because I've come to realize that no is a complete sentence. As a kid, you couldn't get away with saying no because you were supposed to do what you were told to do. So no wasn't a regular or couldn't be done without some sort of accountability. Now I can stand in my no, stand proud in it, use my no as a weapon to protect myself. And so, nope. No, I'm not going to let you do that. No, I'm not going to let you talk to me that way. No, I'm not going to let you put me in a box. No, I'm not going to keep this secret if it hurts me. So, no, it's a complete sentence. I stand it all day.
What would you say to another Black woman who's still living in silence and trauma and with her trauma?
Come on, girl. It's about you. It's not about them. As long as you are protecting them, you are hurting yourself. I would want her to know that it's okay to tell the truth. It is. It's not about them. And you don't even have to forgive them right away. That will come with time. But you do have to get out of that situation.
Absolutely. In what ways do you now protect your peace and mental well being?
I think my relationship with God helps me with that. I mean, because even if there's a bad dream, if there's a bad moment, if there's something happening in my life that takes me back there, I know that I can always go to God in prayer. And in that prayer, He's going to heal, He's going to protect, He's going to soothe. It's a comfort space. And no matter what nobody else says, God is going to keep that secret from me. Whatever I tell Him, He going to keep it.
That's
And
right.
Him keeping it, that is shedding my load. He says, take
Now,
my yoke upon me and learn of me. I'm
looking
bearing all my secrets to Him.
looking back at the woman you were before you began your healing journey, what do you think she understood the most about love, safety, or even her own value?
I, I didn't hear everything that you said, but
Uh-oh.
I
I
know
said,
that
I said, looking back at the woman you were before you began your healing journey, what do you think she misunderstood about love, safety, and her own value?
I don't know that I had value because I felt like if I had value, then somebody wouldn't have treated me the way they did. So I was less than because people that I grew up with that it did not happen to, apparently they had more value than I did. So it wasn't until I learned that, you know what? I don't care what you think. I've got to grow from this. I've got to be my own person. And the things that I have accomplished made me feel like I had some value. So it didn't matter that they tried to diminish me. I'm standing in who I believe I'm supposed to be.
Now, a lot of Black women wear a strong face in public, which we've all admitted to doing it, while carrying deep pain in silence. What did that duality look like for you, and how did it impact your mental or emotional health?
That was deep for me because in the midst of the storm, and I was the oldest child. So there was a dependence on me. So even though I was hurt, I couldn't show that because I still had responsibilities. When I left home, now I had new responsibilities because now I got a husband and I got some kids and now I'm leading other people. So there was no room for a mask. I see that commercial all the time where the people hold up that little piece of paper mask and it's smiling, but on the inside they are hurting. That
Mm-hmm.
was me. I had a mask for both or for all occasions. Just hold which mask you want, which one you want. And that was challenging. It took maybe until maybe a couple years ago. I could count the years on my hand that I finally decided that no more mask. This is me. This is all of me. It's
Mm-hmm.
just now me with a little bit of Maybelline, but I'm not going to carry a mask. When I'm hurt, I want you to know that I'm hurt. When I'm
Okay.
happy, I want you to know I'm happy. And it's up to me when I get up and I put on my Maybelline. I've chosen I'm going to be happy today. God damn it, I don't care what nobody else says.
Listen, I hear you. I'm with you on that. Now, when you were writing this letter, did you ever feel any resistance throughout this process from your emotions, from your past, or even your sense of identity? And what did you do? That's the most important part. What did you do with that resistance?
Absolutely. Every paragraph I wrote, every memory that came up, that I hesitated to write it because, oh my God, somebody's going to see it, somebody's going to hear it, somebody's going to read it. Yes, there was a lot of hesitancy, but I still wrote because I said, you know what? Even if I just write it, I'm getting it out. Even if it never makes the book, I'm still getting it out. Even if it gets edited somewhere along the line, I've taken it out of my bag. That's one less brick I'm going to carry. And so I would tell other people that even if you're not ready for the world to know, write it down. Maybe write the letter to your younger self and mail it to yourself.
I
How
love
about
that.
that? You don't have to send it to somebody strange. Just get it out.
Yeah,
Getting it out made me feel better. Like I said, I'm not all the way healed. I am becoming, but I tell you what, it's a lot lighter than it used to be.
I love that. I love it. You actually answered my next two questions, but I'm going to ask them anyway because maybe there'll be a little bit more clarification for someone who's out there listening. When you think about healing now, how would you describe it in your own words? And what part of the process has been the hardest for you to accept?
The hardest, the hardest part was actually having kept the secret even after my mom left, and she left in 1994, and here we are 20 years later, and I have still kept that secret. That was the hardest part, keeping it and not even having a reason or a justification for keeping it. That was hard. But at the same time, I didn't have somebody pushing me. I didn't have that accountability. I could promise myself that I'm going to tell, I'm going to write it, I'm going to do something. Nope. As long as there wasn't accountability, I didn't do it. So this gave me the accountability to get it done, to free myself.
Now, in what ways do you now protect your peace and your mental well being?
Nowadays, I just keep my distance. And as an adult, I choose not to let myself fall in those predicaments. I shelter myself. So the army taught me, and that's another reason I still say that I'm soldiering. The army taught me to always have a buddy. There was always a buddy system. So if you went to the bathroom, you had a buddy. If you wherever you were going, that was not a very public place, you should have a buddy. And I continue that today. I don't put myself in those positions that if I'm by myself, that you could catch me off guard.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. And I would encourage other women. You don't have to do. There's too many Black women out here that share the same story. There's no reason that you should have to go anywhere that is inappropriate or could be dangerous by yourself. Don't go to the gym by yourself. Don't. I might say don't go to church by yourself.
Don't go to the gas station by yourself. Okay.
If you, especially at night. Now, because there are some days that I will go to the busiest QT I can find.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go to one that's empty because my trust ain't there yet. Pray for me. But if I can have a
your trust with what's in the world, just with human trafficking, we cannot allow ourselves to drop our guards like that anymore.
At all. Yeah. So if at all possible, if you are not out at noonday in the biggest crowd, in the busiest QT, in the busiest Walmart, on the Walmart camera, hey, I'm here, record me, because if I leave back out of here and I'm not by myself, I want somebody to know where I am.
And you know, the crazy part about that is there have been instances where you can look where women have reported they have been in Walmart, in grocery stores, and someone has followed them out of the store and around the parking lot, and to the point that they ended up walking back in the store to get security so that whomever was following them, they wouldn't be aware of what car they were in. There have been instances out there where women have given reports of multiple men in groups following them and their daughters around different grocery stores, shopping centers, all of that. So you do have to keep your head on a swivel and be on guard at all times.
Yep, and carry your pium pium.
Pium pium. Yep.
Whatever you need to do, wherever you are, get it registered. Get the classes, know how to use it. I would prefer that women know how to use it and not need it, than to not know how to use it or don't have the license to carry it.
That's the most important part. Yeah, is if you have it, I need you not only to have it, but to also know how to utilize it, because you need it for safety reasons and you don't want it to hurt you.
I'm a soldier, so my pew pew is on point. Yeah. At 100 yards, 500 yards, my pew pew is on point.
My ex was a veteran, so he made sure we were actually trained in how to use several pieces of artillery.
My husband takes my daughters to the range as often as they make the time to do it. For Christmas, we made sure that they are comfortable with their situation. My daughters travel a lot. They need to be comfortable wherever they are. So a soldier for life.
I love it. Now, what does it mean to you, Miss Robin, to be a part of this Dear Black Woman Anthology project?
This is so cool. If I could be just as corny as I want to be. I feel like I was always joining meetups to get to know other Black women, to make friends. But this, I'm not going to say meetup group, but this group of women, some of us have a similar story, if not the damn near same story. Maybe different characters, but the actions were the same.
Yep.
For different reasons. And so I am glad to be with a group of women who stand in their power. And I'm not saying that other women aren't going to stand or are not standing in their power. We just do it in a different way. But this group of women, we have taken the time to put our junk on paper, so that the world can see it, so that they can recognize us for not just being a strong Black woman, but being a woman that stands in her own shoes. We don't have to stand up and do like this anymore. No. We got the magic of a pen. And so where my voice may not go, my writing can.
Absolutely.
I may not ever see the world again. In my travels as a soldier, I was able to see a few places, but I believe now that my story, through the writing, through the book, will get to see, I'm believing it by faith, will get to countries that I have never set foot in. So some woman out there who's dealing with this, some teenage girl, some sister, some auntie, some cousin, some girlfriend is going to see this story, see our collective stories, and realize that they see themselves in it. And if we could do it, they could
They
do it.
can too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, from your lips to God's ears, I'm praying that this book takes off on levels, that it doesn't just inspire the healing that we've all taken, but inspires so many other Black women, and not just Black women, but women across the globe to seek healing for themselves as well.
We just have
So,
to speak that into existence. God
yeah,
didn't create us to be on somebody's footstool.
no.
And
So,
so we don't need to be up underneath nobody either. We
no,
can
we
stand in
don't.
our own.
No, we don't. Now, after putting your story on paper, what has changed for you internally? I know we touched on that a little bit more. Did speaking your truth bring any clarity, any peace, or any unexpected emotions that you're still processing?
It did. It let me see some of the women in my life in a different manner, where I had always held them to a higher standard. But realizing some of the things that maybe would not have happened if they were not allowed, it made me look at them a little bit differently. And I just know that I want to pattern myself a little bit different. I knew growing up that, when I had kids, especially my daughters, I did things a little bit differently. But now, when I look at some of the women in my life and see some of the flaws, it allowed me to check myself. Like, hey, I'm sure they thought they was doing the right thing too. So, are you doing the right thing,
Yes,
Robin? Are you setting a precedence for the way things should be? So, it allowed me to, look in the mirror just a little closer. Like, hey,
I
check
love it.
you.
With that being said, Miss Robin, you said check you. What's next for Robin Blue? And what legacy do you want your story to leave for others?
I think I want people to know that she soldiered till the end. She stood up for herself and she stood up for others. Talking about leading, she led all the way through. When she being me, became who God had created her to be, she led the charge. Everybody can't do that. And I'm believing that He has allowed me to be here long enough to do that. So I'm good.
I love that, Miss Robin. Miss Robin said when she became who God created her to be, she led the charge. I love it. Soldiering for life, Miss Robin.
Oh,
Listen, okay, Miss
like that
Robin,
call.
tell the people you're not just a co-author. And you guys, you've heard me talk about Miss Robin's business many, many times over this past year. But Miss Robin, tell everybody about your business and what you do.
Well, thank you for that plug. I am the owner and the curator for Rendezvous in Style, which is a tea party experience um, opportunity. I offer tea parties for young women, well, women of all ages, actually. Now we've added a new feature to our offering that we are starting at the toddler age, because you are never too young to know etiquette, to know discipline, to know motivation, to know your self worth. And so we're starting to train young girls at the age of about 3, need to be potty trained to sit at the table. And so 3 through whenever God calls you home.
3 2 through 100, because some of you.
Yeah. We don't want children to gossip and learn about everybody here on earth. We want them to learn from characters from God's word. So we take biblical characters and convert them into education or edutainment, depending on what your level of scripture is. So we
And
have a
this
good
is an
time with that.
Yeah, listen, you guys, this is an experience. And if you follow me on social media, you've seen a lot of posts. I attended one of Miss Robin's tea parties. Miss Robin has hosted tea parties for the Dear Black Woman organization. Miss Robin left out quite a bit in her explanation of her business. Miss Robin doesn't just own Rendezvous in Style. She also has a content facility in the metro Atlanta area. So if you are in that area, make sure that you are go follow Miss Robin on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, any of those. Book your photo shoots, your tea parties, your business meetings, your family cookouts at Miss Robin's event facility. Okay.
Absolutely. We have designed it for little girls so they can have a lot of different options for backdrops. We have a get dressed with me space. We have a space for you to do your boudoir photo shoots if you want to do that too. So we
She
are
also has
here.
the space over there for those of you who are podcasters and need a facility with microphones and setup. Miss Robin actually has a room that is dedicated to that over
That's
there.
the room that we're in today.
Yes.
That's
So
the room that
come
we're
on.
in today.
See, listen.
Small business meetings, book club meetings, whatever type of meeting that you need, we have the space for. And it's private too. So you don't have to book a restaurant or a large facility that is bigger than what you actually need. This is a homegrown space where you can feel comfortable and intimate all at the same time. So
Now,
we are rendezvous.ns on Instagram, rendezvousinstyle.com. We are Rendezvous in Style on Facebook as well.
yes.
TikTok, I think we are Sip and Spill the Tea.
Regardless of what she is on social media, you need to hang out with Miss Robin. And don't she left out some more information. So if you book a meeting or event over at Miss Robin's content facility, also make sure you ask for a menu. Cause Miss
Absolutely.
Rob, yeah, ask for a menu. Don't go over there and try to don't bring in no food. I'm telling you, ask for a menu. You will not regret it. Okay, just ask for a menu.
My husband's a veteran. He's a retired chef and he's also a retired police officer. So we got you coming and going. We
Yeah,
got you protected. We got you fed. We got you entertained. Come see us.
yes. So if you
Rendezvousinstyle.com.
are looking for a black owned, female owned, veteran owned, support blue owned type of business, you have no excuse for why you are not allowing Miss Robin to curate tea parties for you and your friends and family. So
We'll come to you, or you can use our event space, whichever one
absolutely.
you're open for.
Well, Miss Robin, I am so grateful for you being a part of this anthology project and everything you are a part of with our organization. I'm so grateful for you, Miss Robin. Let me just say it like that. I'm so
Thank
grateful
you
for
for
you.
allowing me to spread my wings.
Yes. So, Miss Robin, thank you again for sharing your story with us. And you guys, the book comes out September of this year. It is Dear Black Woman, and I have about 16 women that are writing letters to their inner child. This is only the beginning for this project. Once this book is released in September, we will actually be taking this book and transforming it into a script. So we have a lot that we're working on behind the scenes over there. This is just one of the many co-authors that are going to be gracing the podcast this season. I have about 16 women that I'm going to be introducing to you. And I hope that Miss Robin's story has been inspirational enough for you to go out and want to pre-order.
You can do it.
Yes, pre-order, which the link will actually be up on June the 1st for you guys to go onto the website, dearblackwoman.me, and you can pre-order your anthology book box. So, with that being said, again, thank you so much, Miss Robin, for joining us on this podcast today. You guys, this has been another dynamic episode of the Dear Black Woman podcast, and I have so many more coming up. Robin, thank you for showing us what it means to fight for your voice, your healing, and your peace. Your willingness to share so honestly gives others permission to do the same. To every listener tuned in today, if you've ever felt unseen, unheard, or unsure of your worth, know this: your voice matters, your healing is possible, and your story is worthy of space. Follow the Dear Black Woman podcast on wherever you listen to your favorite podcast shows. Share this episode with someone who needs it. And as always, keep walking in your truth. And until next week, stay grounded, stay present, and stay whole.